Hello and welcome to the latest edition of Insight News with me, Ian Pelham-Turner and MA Spooner Limited. So today we're going to talk about the importance of creating a viable and sustainable business model. And this is going to be in two parts because there is so much information you really need to know about for this. So Michael, a business model really describes the steps you have to take to capture value, pricing, mechanism, operational activities. Please explain this.
Yeah, okay, so a business model is, in an entrepreneur or a founding director or a company's business plans, a business model is part of, it sits with your financial strategy. And a business model is how are you going to make money, how are you going to generate income, how are you going to configure your value chain, so how you're going to produce the product, produce the service, research, develop, configure the service, bring your resources, your people, cash, reputation, facilities, buildings, technology, all those things you're going to configure together so that you can ultimately produce the service and deliver the service to the end user. That's one part. And then the second part of your business model is about how do you sell the service, i.e. how do you, what's the stages, the steps towards selling to your customers so that they can give you money in exchange for the service or the product. And so it's those two elements that bring a business model together, and it's basically how you generate money. It's so fundamental to your business proposition, to your ability to survive or be viable in a marketplace. So if you get those two elements right, the production element and the selling element, and they join together in a coherent model, that's what business model is. In a nutshell, that's as simple as that. And it's about creating value for the customer. So your customer says, this firm, this service, this shop, or whatever the business is creating value for me because it's given me something that I desire, I want, I need. It meets my expectations. It meets my desire. It solves the problem for the customer. So ultimately, the business models they're designed to solve a problem for the customer.
Excellent. So you talk about the value chain, the optimum configuration to enable sales, profits, and generate cash. So talk a little bit more about the value chain.
Yeah, well, the value chain is, and for those listeners would know about Michael Porter's 1985, he created the value chain concept, or he wrote it down in his book, rather, because it's probably been around for hundreds of years. And the value chain is really about, if you think about three boxes in your head, if we imagine a supply chain on the left, and then the primary service in the middle, and then you have the distribution channels on the right, and it's three square boxes all connected together like a chain. And all businesses have this fundamental structure to it. It's basically, we have lots of suppliers, lots of people input into your business, raw materials, finished goods, all sort of, whether it's your accountant, whether it's your consultants, whether it's your supplier, anybody that's supplying assistance to you for you to deliver your service is a supplier. And then the principal work is where you convert inputs into finished products, and then your distribution chain is where you distribute it to your customers, whether it's the internet, through the post, through a training course, face to face, or through a shop or a retail outlet. Those are part of your distribution. So this chain is how you make money. This is how you structure your business to make sure that you've got your supply chain is organized, managed by yourself, under contracts. The primary bit in the middle, you are doing all that work. This is what you do well. You only do the things that you're trained to do, you're expert at, you're good at, and you're professional at. And then the distribution is where you push it out of your company or out of your business to the marketplace, to the customer, and you do that in a way which is efficient. And so that's what the value chain is as simple as I can make it, Ian, because the value chain is a whole thing in itself, and it's quite complex. But I made it as simple as I can, and I really need our listeners to really start to think about their business in terms of the value chain.
Michael, thank you so much. So that is end of part one. Part two, we will be talking more about the viability and sustainability of creating a business model. Stay tuned.